No pueden encarcelarnos a todas. No pueden encarcelarnos a todas.
State of the Union address, we've already talked about it, but it was the actual address itself I thought was excellent. I maintain my long-standing objection to the State of the Union address conceptually. I don't think it should exist, but it does exist, and I think that Trump delivered probably the best one that I've heard in my lifetime. Bar's pretty low, but still, it was a good speech. Clear, eloquent, inspirational, aspirational, especially the final minute or so of the speech I thought was particularly good. Let's listen to that.
There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of Providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Well, that's how a president should speak about America, with pride in its past, in its history, hope for the future. I mean, this is what you want to hear. Problem for Democrats is that they can't speak that way about America. It's because they deeply hate the country. They really do. They don't want the country to exist. And that's why, as good as Trump's speech was, he could have said nothing. He could have gotten up there and recited nursery rhymes, and it still would have been a political win because of the way the opposition comported themselves, the way that they were self-immolating as they were guaranteed to do, and it was exactly what you would expect. Worse in some ways. We've already seen how they sat on their hands. They didn't stand for the grieving mother of Irina Zarutska. We saw how they refused to stand and affirm the idea that the American government should be primarily concerned with protecting American citizens. And they humiliated themselves in many other ways that they always come up with new ways, the ways you don't expect. So Representative Al Green showed up carrying a sign. I think this was his second year carrying a sign and getting kicked out. Did the exact same thing last year. And here's the sign this time. Black people aren't apes is the sign. Which I got to say, that's maybe the least inspiring slogan I've ever seen on a sign. I mean, you got a sign. It's going to be seen by millions of people because you're holding it. It's a star for attention. You're holding it at the State of the Union address, so lots of people are going to see it. And this is your chance to get across a simple message. And your message is black people aren't apes. Not the most inspiring slogan. Or maybe it is, because another way of looking at this is, I don't know, is this Al Green coming out against the theory of evolution? That would be bold for a Democrat in the modern Democrat Party to come out against the theory of evolution. Was this his attack on Darwinism? Is that what that was? Because, according to the theory of evolution, black people are actually apes. So are white people. All humans are. I mean, that's the theory, right? So is he saying that's not true? That would be interesting. Is he planting his flag on the creationist side of the debate? I mean, I don't think anyone saw that coming. Meanwhile, Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, two of the most, trying to put this in a way that's not so insulting, two of the most hideous and repulsive creatures to ever hold elected office. I mean, that's the most flattering way I could possibly put it. They were at the speech also, and they were I thought a lot of these people were going to boycott the speech, but apparently they showed up and they were screeching and screaming throughout the event. Watch.
You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking
So every year we go through this with Democrats heckling and yelling, making total asses of themselves. And every year you can't help but think back to when a Republican shouted one thing, "You lie," at Obama during a State of the Union address, whenever that was during the Obama tenure. And it was a month-long scandal. I mean, those of us who are old enough to remember, you could recall it very well. It was a huge scandal. Those were the good old days, I guess. And now Democrats have turned the event into a professional wrestling match. I mean, they just sit there and scream the whole time. Which is yet another reason, by the way, why the State of the Union address should just be abolished. And there's a lot of reasons, but this is maybe the best one now. Because the whole point of the event, I mean, yeah, the president is communicating the State of the Union, talking about what's happened, what the plan is for the future. But that could be conveyed many other ways. You could just put out a memo. You could send an email. He could just give an address without an audience. But there's a lot of different ways to do it now. The whole reason of doing it with the pageantry is supposed to be the pageantry. It's supposed to be the kind of the symbolism. It's supposed to be the symbolic show of unity that you've got both sides all together. Everyone's in the same room, and everybody is cheering for most of what the president is talking about. That's the way it used to work. Yeah, you'd have a few instances where one side stands, the other side doesn't. But for the most part, it is a symbolic show of unity. That's what it's supposed to be. And those days are over. Those days are just over. And so why are we still doing this? Yeah, as a conservative, there's part of me that says, well, it's all the more reason to keep doing it because Democrats are embarrassing themselves. So great, if they want to harm themselves politically, let's let them do it. But it's also embarrassing, I have to say, as an American citizen, and I see what's happening in Congress, it's humiliating. It's embarrassing. And that's reason enough to just stop doing it. The good news is that some of the craziest nutcases on that side did not attend the event because instead they held their own State of the Union speeches, competing events. Very similar to the episode of The Office, the Christmas party where there's competing Christmas parties. So kind of like that. Only this was funnier, actually, unintentionally so. So let's check in on one of the competing Democrat events. No context here. Here's just a guy in a giraffe costume talking about something.
ICE prison in Minneapolis. I've been arrested 3 times by ICE over absurdity, over us being ourselves, over me singing songs like, "Hey, Mr. Tangerine Man, get rid of brown people for me. I'm Aryan white. There ain't no place I'm going to." And then all of a sudden, he's not ready for primetime player ICE agents with 2 weeks of training come after me. I got arrested in Portland. I got arrested in Minneapolis in the last 3 weeks twice. But they can't erase a movement, all right? What I went through is 1/1000th of a lot of marginalized people and what they have to go through in those ICE detention centers. And I want to tell you something right now. There's an announcement. Pumpkin spice.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what about pumpkin spice? I cut it off. He finally got to something interesting. Did he just say, as an announcement, I want to announce pumpkin spice? What announcement related to pumpkin spice did he feel the need to make? I don't know. We're never going to know. We're never going to know. Because we don't need to listen to any more of that. That was, that's the State of the Swamp event is what they're calling it. Just imagine the smell in that room. Dear God. And they had an actual, as we saw, like an actual schizophrenic hobo in a giraffe costume. I guess they figured the Democrat Party, they are the party for schizophrenic hobos. Their whole platform is really centered around schizophrenic hobos. It's all about making everything better for schizophrenic hobos. And so they decided, hey, let's have the real deal up on stage. Put him in a giraffe costume. Why is he in a giraffe costume? I have no idea. What does a giraffe have to do with the swamp? What's the symbolism there? Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they have swamp. I assume that in areas where there are giraffes, they also have swamps. Maybe, but you don't associate giraffes and swamps. But that's to be expected. And by the way, this event with the schizophrenic hobo, that was not some random spontaneous gathering of vagrants. Robert De Niro headlined that event. So there was real money put into this. This funding. This thing was funded. And they decided to give that guy a speaking slot. Then over at the People's State of the Union, an entirely different competing State of the Union. So they had a competing State of the Union and then a competing State of the Union to compete with the competing State of the Union. And over there, an entirely different schizophrenic hobo, this one named Joy Reid, was addressing the crowd through song.
No pueden encarcelarnos a todas. No pueden encarcelarnos a todas. No pueden encarcelarnos a todas. Imprison us all. Hey. Woo! Okay. I think I did okay.
You did amazing. Yes. You get an A. I don't give grades though. We just go on vibes, and the vibes were immaculate.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
I don't know. I kind of blocked it out honestly while I was playing. I couldn't stomach it. So there's your alternative right there. The shrieking boomer women singing protest songs off key, the crazy guy in the giraffe costume, the Somali politician who married her brother screaming. That's the opposition. That's your other choice. And this is why I also want to say, this is the last thing I'll say on this topic, is it's why I have no patience for anyone who says that, well, the left and right are the same thing, right? Two sides of the same coin. It's all the same, man. This is what they just do left and right. It's all a big charade to keep us divided, man. This is a no. We're all on the same side, right? Left and right. That's not real. I mean, you hear this all the time. You hear it from some conservatives sometimes. You hear it from podcasters. That is, and they always say it so proud of themselves, like it's some insight they just came up with, like they're the first person to say it. They feel so wise. You know what? I'm just going to say it. No one else is going to say this thing that a billion other people have already said. Left and right are the same. It's all the same. No, that is a midwit's attempt at nuance. Okay, that is a stupid person attempting to sound like a smart person. That is a stupid person's attempt at sounding like a free thinker. Except you just sound like everybody else, which is the irony of it. It's not true. Left and right are not the same thing. There's an actual difference here. There's a real, it's not a small difference. It's not a difference of style. It's not a difference of tone. And there are some differences there too, but it is a substantive, real difference. And the gap between the left and right is vast and deep. It is infinitely deep. Because on the left, just go back to where we started. The entire Democrat Party would not even stand to even symbolically agree with the idea that the American government's first priority is to American citizens. They don't even agree in theory with that idea. Okay, so that's the difference. They actually, the whole ideology, the whole point is to dismantle, destroy Western civilization and all of the institutions that Western civilization is based on and depends on. That is what they want to do. That is their objective. That is their agenda. And yes, I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, that's very different from my political project. In fact, it's the opposite.